Good afternoon. Police are asking for the public's help to locate a woman who has been missing since the weekend.
63-year-old Anne-Marie was last seen in the Eglinton Avenue East and Victoria Park Avenue area on August 8th. CB24 Steve Ryan has been following the search. He joins us live now with the latest. What can you tell us, Steve?
Well, this is now a level 1 search, and what that means is that the incident commander can designate as many resources as they deem necessary to assist in the search. And typically, when a level 1 search is implemented, it's often because a person goes missing who is a senior, a child, somebody who is vulnerable, somebody who is incapable of taking care of themselves, foul play, suspicious incidents. And in this particular case, it is suspicious enough because this 63-year-old woman has not had any digital footprint since last Saturday, so no use of any bank cards, credit cards, phone. So as a result, this is completely out of her regular goings-on. And so as a result, now the police are concerned. We're talking about August the 8th. This is now the Tuesday going into 3 days, and they have now implemented the level 1 search as they continue looking for the 63-year-old who has been missing for quite some time now. And this continues to go without her being located, the more concerned police become. Now, we did hear from Toronto Police earlier today at this location. Here's some of what we were told.
I can tell you Anne-Marie was last seen on Saturday, August the 8th at 5:53 p.m. in the area of Eglinton Avenue East and Bermondsey Road in Toronto. Anne-Marie is 63 years old. She's 5'7" and approximately 132 pounds. She has a slim build. She has brown eyes, and she has shoulder-length blonde hair, and she does speak with a Scottish accent. Anne-Marie was last seen wearing a white top, black pants, wearing reading glasses, and wearing brown running shoes.
Police are asking for the public's assistance, so if you can help them locate Anne-Marie, you are being encouraged to give the Toronto Police a call. So back to the desk.
CB24 Steve Ryan reporting. Thank you. Shots were fired at a home in Scarborough. Police called to a townhouse complex on Danzig Street near Lawrence and Morningside for reports of shots fired around 3:15 this morning. A unit was struck by gunfire, but no one was injured. Police have not provided suspect descriptions, but say witnesses spotted a vehicle leaving the scene. They're asking anyone who might have information to come forward.
Peel police are searching for suspects after 2 teen boys were stabbed in Brampton. Officers were called to an address in the area of Kennedy Road and Glidden Road around 10:45 last night. When they arrived, they found the 2 victims, who were both under 18 years old, suffering from stab wounds. They were taken to a local trauma center where they remain in stable, non-life-threatening condition. Police say they're searching for 2 men in connection with the stabbing. They're asking anyone with information to come forward.
A motorcyclist was sent to hospital following a crash in Brampton. Peel police say the motorcycle collided with a car in the area of Steeles and Bramalea just after 7:30 last night. The motorcyclist, a man, was seriously injured, while the woman driving the car suffered minor injuries. An investigation is ongoing. And a man was taken to hospital after being struck by a vehicle in Brampton. This happened shortly before 10:15 last night near a bus stop in the area of Kennedy and Steeles. Police say 2 vehicles collided, with one then striking a bus shelter. The man who was inside the shelter at the time was taken to hospital with minor injuries. Both drivers, a 43-year-old woman and a 53-year-old woman, remained on scene. The 43-year-old woman has since been charged with careless driving. Jessiah Massaro-Gill, one of 2 18-year-old suspects charged in the deadly Salsa on St. Clair shooting, made a court appearance today.
Massaro-Gill is facing numerous charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the shooting at the street festival last month. CTV's Janice Golding has been following the case and joins us now live with more. Janice.
Hi, Andrew. Yes, Jessiah Massaro-Gill is one of 2 suspects facing murder charges in relation to the Salsa on St. Clair Street Festival. He was back in court today. The 18-year-old is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder as well as 5 counts of attempted murder. 2 men in their 20s were killed in the shooting, and 5 other people at the busy street festival were injured. At a news conference announcing the suspect's arrest last week, Chief Myron Demke said police believed the two deceased were targeted, while those who were wounded were innocent bystanders. Appearing at the Armory Courthouse via video today, Massaro-Gill waited in a virtual prisoner's box for about an hour before his matter was addressed, and that only took a couple minutes. Massaro-Gill was asked to state his name, which he did loudly. A lawyer then asked for the matter to be put over for 2 weeks, and the Toronto teen was remanded in custody. Massaro-Gill is also facing a variety of firearms offenses as well as drug-related offenses. He'll be back on court on August 25th. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Andrea.
Thank you, Janice. A new report finds vehicle thefts are down across the country. The report from the anti-fraud group Equate Association says the number of auto thefts over the first half of this year was down 10% compared to the same period last year. It says that marks return to pre-pandemic levels. The report indicates a shortage of new vehicles during the COVID-19 pandemic led to a big spike in thefts. The group says luxury vehicles are still being targeted, with the profits being used to fund organized crime.
Still to come on CTV News at noon, British Columbia remains under a state of emergency as wildfires burn across the province. We'll have the very latest on the situation a little later in the newscast. But first, our province is marking a milestone in the construction of the Eglinton Crosstown West extension. Most of the extension will run underground, and tunneling is now complete. After excavating a 6.3-kilometer portion of the extension from Scarlett Road to Renforth Drive, work on twin 500-meter tunnels from Mount Dennis Station to Jane Street has wrapped up. The extension is more than 9 kilometers long and will connect Mount Dennis to Renforth Drive.
This milestone brings us one step closer to extending Line 5 another 9.2 kilometers west into Mississauga. That means that commuters will have nearly 30 kilometers of continuous rapid transit along Eglinton Avenue. That connects communities like Scarborough, Midtown Toronto, Mississauga along one line.
Tunneling for the 6.3-kilometer western underground segment of the extension from Scarlett Road to Renforth was completed in 2024.
Drivers are being urged to fill up today ahead of an expected jump at the pumps tomorrow. The cost of gas is set to rise 6 cents overnight, according to Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTeague. Now, that would bring the average cost to just under $1.69 at most GTHA stations. McTeague is also predicting that diesel will rise by 12 cents to roughly $2.21 a litre.
There is no doubt that this has been the wildest ride in energy prices we've ever seen. Worse than 2008, I might add. A lot of stuff back then. But it's not that it's up and down. It's up and down rather radically. I mean, we're going up 6 cents a litre tomorrow, 168.9. Diesel's going up 12 cents a litre to 20.9. Now, we've seen these numbers before. But, you know, the anticipation of prices going up and down, I think, is pretty critical because it's going to save people a lot of money. But this time, it's a little different. You know, we don't have this midweek declaration by President Trump that things are getting better. There's a deal just around the corner, or a response by Iran that maybe there might be a cessation of hostilities.
McTeague says the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in the U.S. has dropped below 300 million barrels for the first time since the 80s. Well, the province has provided an update on the wildfire situation in Ontario.
While new fires have been reported, people in northern communities have been able to return home. CTV's Mike Walker has been following the situation. He joins us live now with an update. Mike.
Well, Michelle and Andrea, the government says this is the largest wildfire season on record in Ontario. To put that in perspective, it's the equivalent of 350,000 football fields that has burned. But the government says progress is being made and more wildfires are being put out. So the update we received just a short time ago, as of today, 152 active wildfires are burning across the province. 12 are not under control, but the government says an additional 84 fires are now declared out since its last update just over a week ago. Evacuation orders have been lifted in some communities, but more than 1,100 people remain displaced in the communities across the province. The government is being criticized for its initial response and how quickly communities were evacuated. Today, the NDP repeating calls for a public inquiry, to which the Minister of Natural Resources responded to just a short time ago.
We had some that started very, very close to community, which makes it extremely challenging. When these fires start, the smoke plumes that come off of them are substantial, and it's not always easy to get folks, A, on the ground, because as I had said before, some of these areas are quite remote, but B, it makes it very difficult to fly planes safely. So from an evacuation perspective, obviously we try and give as much warning as we possibly can, and I think that's one of the things that we really want to press upon communities. If you see fires starting and you're able to evacuate, you should do it. You don't necessarily have to wait for the MNR or the government to come in and say, you know, you better get out.
Crews from other provinces and Mexico remain on the ground assisting Ontario firefighters, but given the progress made to date, the government revealed today that some of those crews will be returning to their home provinces in the coming weeks. Reporting live at Queen's Park, I'm Mike Walker. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. We will have an update on the situation in BC just a little later. But first, here in the city, let's take a moment to soak up this sunny, beautiful summer day. It is hot. The sky is clear, and really, it makes sense that our Jessica Smith is out and about enjoying the city. She's in Earl Bales Park this afternoon. How's it going there? Oh, glad you're outside and taking it all in.
It really is the picture-perfect summer day, Michelle. When you open up the textbook of weather and you look at what summer is supposed to look like, it is a day like today. We have a nice light breeze out there. It's hot, but not too humid just yet. And here at the park, it's a great day to spend some time outside. We've seen campers, lots of families setting up. There's ice cream trucks. I mean, what more can you really ask for? And temperature-wise throughout the day, we'll hover just above that seasonal point with a nice light wind carrying us right through to the evening. As we step into the day tomorrow, some unsettled weather does move back in, but overall, it's not too bad, all things considered. But right now, high pressure holding firm, and it's going to be a beautiful day. Temperature-wise, right across southern Ontario, not too bad. We're in kind of that low to mid-20 point, feeling in to the mid-20s, low 30s, and that carries us into this midpoint of our day. This afternoon, we'll see around 28 through the islands, 27 through Pearson, so the humidex is there, but not as much of a factor, and we're not going to hover too far above seasonal as we head in towards our afternoon. Tonight, dropping down to a low of 15, but that is later on this evening. So if you have any plans outside, it is going to be absolutely stunning. But sun protection, hydration, and breaks in the shade are key. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast. Right now, I'll send things back inside.
Thanks, Jessica. Ontario Liberal leadership candidates took to the stage for the first time for their leadership debate last night. The party's two previous leaders, Stephen Del Duca and Bonnie Crombie, did not have a seat in the legislature. Two current caucus members, Lee Fairclough and Stephanie Bowman, made that case. The next leader needs to have the visibility of being an elected legislator. The other three candidates, former federal cabinet minister Navdeep Bains, housing advocate Eric Lombardi, and former political staffer Dylan Mirando, argued that isn't what will matter to voters.
So if we want to win again, we have to first attract talented candidates that Ontarians can imagine can serve them well in government. We've got to operate our technology and infrastructure so that we're on the ground across the province and able to deliver our presence everywhere.
And the Ontario Liberal Party can't wait for the next election to rebuild. We need to start now, listening to our members across this whole province, urban, rural, suburban, the north, and listen to what they have to say about what our party needs.
So our job is not to oppose. Our job is to propose. We need to become an alternative to this government. We need to show that we are ready to govern.
Make sure that we are building from the grassroots up, working with local associations, our rural commissions and northern commissions and young liberals. And I would show up as a leader in communities with them so Ontarians knew how we would solve any problem.
You need to build a strong team of candidates, and you need to have a comprehensive plan. And that's what I will do as a leader. I've done it before federally. I took the Liberals from 3rd to 1st, and I plan to do that provincially as well.
The next Ontario Liberal leader is set to be announced November 21st.
Elections Canada estimates by-elections this year to replace departing members of Parliament will cost taxpayers more than $24 million. The agency says while the cost of holding a by-election can vary, a single by-election costs an average of $2 million. Elections Canada says it typically costs more to hold by-elections in the GTA because of higher prices for facility rentals and advertising.
We turn now to the wildfire situation in British Columbia. The entire province remains under a state of emergency with more than 100 fires burning. Thousands of people have been forced from their homes by the flames.
It's like a freight train coming at you, the heat, everything. It's just, it's unexplainable.
There was no time to really grab anything. We got 4 horses out, and the rest we had to open the gates.
I have no insurance, and I know lots of people out there are in the same boat. It's scary.
The Bald Range fire has grown to cover an area of roughly 156 square kilometers, with the terrain creating challenges for fire crews. As of last night, nearly 100 firefighters were battling the blaze with 8 helicopters and 25 pieces of heavy equipment providing support. The RCMP have launched an investigation into the cause of the fire. CTV's Scott Hurst has been following the situation and joins us now live with more. Scott, what more can you tell us?
Andrea, good afternoon. You just heard from some wildfire evacuees who are learning that in some cases these residents have lost everything, homes and properties destroyed. Some 20,000 people in that area have been forced out, and so there was a significant evacuation order, but also wider evacuation alerts as well. As I mentioned, some tens of thousands of people who have been forced out of their homes. As we look at a map of the wider area of BC, which shows evacuation orders and bigger areas of land for alerts, and particularly when we talk about the Bald Range fire, not just the 20,000 people who have been forced out, there are several thousand more who have to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and they are under evacuation alerts. Now, specifically with this fire, you mentioned it's some 155 square kilometers. It's been growing quickly since it just flared up Friday evening, and as I mentioned, there's already been a lot of homes and properties damaged or destroyed. However, the full extent of the damage is impossible to assess just yet, but the mayor of the community of Summerland, a community of 12,000 forced out, said it's unlikely they'll be able to go home anytime soon, also cautioning residents to brace themselves for what's there and what's not, to brace themselves for what they will see in the community when they are able to return. Now, the BC government has announced it's secured more than 1,000 hotel rooms in the area, nearby towns such as Penticton, Kelowna, and West Kelowna, with plans to hopefully open up more beds in group lodging. Ottawa has approved an emergency request for help with shelter and accommodation, and we did hear from Defense Minister David McGuinty saying the military is on standby to help as well, Andrea, with federal officials, he says, are in direct communication with those in the province of British Columbia fighting these wildfires.
Scott, we've heard that one person has lost their life, and I know that people have said they've lost their pets in this fire. At this point, we still don't know what caused it. Was it a lightning strike? Was it human? What can you tell us about the RCMP investigation?
At the moment, the official cause has not yet been determined, but the BC RCMP have opened up a criminal investigation examining all reports of suspicious activity that may have led to the start of the fire. Right now, investigators say they're not ruling anything out. They're looking for witnesses who may have seen anything or know anything about the potential cause of this fire, including anyone who might have dash cam footage, video, or photos from Friday afternoon when the fire flared up. As I mentioned, Andrea, this fire only flared up late Friday evening, and now we've seen so much devastation, so much destruction in just a couple of days. According to the BC Wildfire Service, there weren't any reports of lightning in the area Friday afternoon, early evening when this fire flared up. So right now, police are on the hunt to determine if this was human-caused by accident or if it was intentionally set, Andrea.
Okay, CTV Scott Hurst. Thank you for that, Scott. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
An evacuation effort is also underway in BC to save some of the province's most vulnerable wildlife.
CTV's Isabella Zevariz has more on how a nonprofit rushed to save dozens of injured animals from the flames.
This was the scene as the owners of a Summerland nonprofit evacuated over 30 wounded animals in just an hour. The Bald Range wildfire closing in on the property.
Like bats, a skunk, porcupine, the beaver, and 2 otters, as well as 14 water birds and 3 turtles. In addition to all the animals in care, they also had personal animals, including a horse, some dogs. So they had to Noah's Ark everything out.
The Interior Wildlife Rehabilitation Society is run by Eva Hartman and Jonathan Laumer. The society cares for aquatic birds, reptiles, and small mammals. All of the animals, including Poppy, were safely relocated.
It seems to be thriving, which is very good to hear.
The center was built by volunteers in 2021. This is what's left of it.
So it's just, yeah, it's devastating to think about what is not there anymore.
It's a feeling shared by residents forced from their own homes, still waiting to find out what's left of theirs. Officials are asking for patience. Summerland's mayor choked up at a briefing Monday evening, describing the toll on the community.
We all know people right now. We all know people who have lost homes. We all have friends who have lost homes. And those people will need our help. We can't have any infighting. We need to just pull together as the community we are and get through this.
For now, the nonprofit's focus is on rebuilding. It's not clear yet if the new facility will be in Summerland, but despite the devastation, there's hope. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
How beautiful is that? Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and lead trade negotiator Janice Charette will be in Washington, D.C. today. The pair set to meet with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer later this afternoon. Canadian officials have been visiting the U.S. Capitol ahead of August 19th, which is when new 50% U.S. tariffs could be placed on a wide range of Canadian goods. CTV's Michael Serapio has been following these trade discussions. He joins us live now from Ottawa with the latest. Michael, what is the sentiment going into today's meeting?
Well, certainly there is good relations between the trade negotiators. We've heard Jamieson Greer say that on air when he gives American interviews. He talks about, and he rather, being the U.S. trade representative, I should note. But, you know, he says he has a good relationship with both Dominic LeBlanc and Janice Charette. So what's at issue, though, are the trade irritants between the two countries. That really is what stands between them and the outcomes and the goals that they want to achieve. The Americans wanting to reshore a lot of industry in the United States, which has meant tariffs on this side, including the new round of tariffs that they are threatening to apply on Canada in 8 days' time, because they want access to dairy, they want tariffs off of U.S. autos, they want American booze back on Canadian shelves, and in return, Canada wants tariff relief from steel, aluminum, autos, and lumber, which the United States has applied for well over a year. So that really is a bit of the groundwork going into it. I should point out at this point, Michelle, that we are counting down to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when Greer will be meeting with the Canadian minister, as well as you said, Janice Charette, the lead negotiator for Canada. There was some question as to whether or not that would have to be pushed back, and that's because weather actually prevented Dominic LeBlanc from landing yesterday in D.C. He made his way back this morning, landed about a little bit about an hour and a half ago, made his way to the Canadian embassy, and in an hour's time will be at the U.S. Trade Office.
We'll be watching how that goes. Meantime, there has been some movement, you could say, on this side of the border. We know the lifting of the U.S. alcohol ban could certainly be a concession that Canada makes. And Quebec, which has been one of the holdouts here, could be coming around. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, and you know, this is one of those concessions that sources tell CTV Canadian negotiators are considering. Of course, the challenge with lifting the ban on alcohol on Canadian shelves, this is not federally regulated or federally started. It was the provinces that began this effort. 8 of 10 provinces right now are engaged in this effort. But once the tariffs came through, or the tariff threat came through, the premiers were asked whether or not they would be willing to essentially lift the booze ban in order to get talks going, in order to get some tariff relief. Most premiers said they were willing to consider it. Christine Fréchette of Quebec said no way, although yesterday she kind of changed her tune in that late last night she basically said, listen, if the United States gives us tariff relief on lumber, on Quebec manufacturing, and aluminum, which are big issues for her province, then they would be willing to consider putting American liquor back on the shelves. So that puts her in line with a whole bunch of other premiers, including Premier Doug Ford, who is in favor of the booze ban, but is willing to consider lifting it for concessions from the United States, which means to say that the lone holdout now is the British Columbia Premier David Eby. But, you know, as you were speaking to Scott earlier on, of course, David Eby right now not being asked much about the liquor ban as he's dealing with those wildfires in BC.
Much bigger problem there. CTV's Michael Serapio live for us in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Meanwhile, a crucial trade link between Canada and the U.S. is off to an encouraging start. Preliminary numbers from StatsCan show nearly 19,000 Canadian resident return trips from the U.S. over the Gordie Howe International Bridge in its first 5 days of operation. During the same period, just over 18,000 American residents crossed the bridge to enter Canada. The agency also says more than 4,000 commercial transport trucks traveled to Canada. The Gordie Howe Bridge between Windsor and Detroit opened to traffic on July 27th after weeks of delay.
New U.S. media reports indicate President Donald Trump was secretly flown out of the NATO summit in Turkey earlier this year aboard an alternate military aircraft because of Iranian threats to assassinate the president. The reports say that while cameras captured Trump changing from the new Qatari-gifted Air Force One to the older version of the plane, which he was expected to depart on behind the scenes, he was secretly shuttled to a smaller plane inside the airport. Inside an airport catering cart. He was then flown to England on the smaller jet while staffers and media flew on Air Force One, which was allegedly under threat. The swap has prompted questions about the security of the Qatari-gifted jet. The White House did directly respond to questions about the reports, only saying that they use every tool available to address threats.
In Ukraine, Russian attacks killed 12 people today. There was a strike on an eastern district of Kyiv in which the grounds of a children's hospital were hit, but the occupants were in shelters and no one was hurt. Elsewhere in the capital, one person was injured in an attack that hit a warehouse. Elsewhere, 6 people were killed in a strike on the southeastern city of Zaporizhzhia. Ukraine's president says North Korean ballistic missiles were used. 6 people died in overnight strikes in 2 other regions of the country.
The death toll in Colombia is believed to be at least 179 following yesterday's earthquake. Search and rescue continuing in dozens of cities and towns in the western part of the country. The 7.4 magnitude quake left over 3,000 people missing, with many trapped under the debris. About 1,600 buildings across the region have been reported damaged or collapsed. The U.S. will provide $15.5 million for emergency shelter, food, and other aid. Governments across Latin America have also lined up to help. United Nations agencies say they stand ready to assist Colombia if and when the request comes.
If you're going to spend some time outside this afternoon and this evening, temperature-wise, it should be pretty comfortable, but also you'll still need that sun protection and lots of hydration. We hold on to this warmth right through to the end of the day, but tonight dropping down to a much more seasonal point. So if you do have some plans later on this afternoon, it will be comfortable. But your daytime high right around 28, 29 degrees, but still feeling into that low to mid 30 range with a fairly moderate southwesterly wind. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast. We'll take a look at the middle of the week and give you a preview of what you can expect as we step into what is going to be, no doubt, a very busy summer weekend. All those details after the break.
It is a glorious afternoon in the city and across the region. Our Jess Smith at Earl Bales Park, and looks like it's bustling there. I'm loving this.
We just had a family barbecue on the Monday of the long weekend, just close by there at G. Ross Lord Park. And it's always nice to see people gathering with their families and having barbecues and playing, you know, baseball or kicking the ball around. And I'm sure it's very busy there where you are, Jess.
It is. Tons of families, people sitting in the shade reading, people going for walks. The splash pad is bumping. It is the place to be. I mean, obviously it's very hot outside. You want to get out and enjoy your summer, but you have to do it safely. So a splash pad, maybe breaks in the shade here at Earl Bales is the way to go. We do have a very high UV index today at an 8. So as you plan your day, sun protection, breaks in the shade, lots of water. We all know the 3 keys to spending time outside safely. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers you don't pay unless they win. After kind of a rainy midpoint to our afternoon yesterday, high pressure has pushed back in, and we have a beautiful day ahead of us as we head through our Tuesday here in the city and really right across the GTA. It is going to get a little bit warmer as we head into the midpoint of our afternoon, but overall not bad. Right now 27, feeling like 29. Right across southern Ontario in that mid to upper 20 range, so at or just above seasonal with a really comfortable breeze out there, helping to add a little bit of reprieve when you're outside in the direct sunlight. Heading into this evening, we're not too far off that seasonal point, so a nice break if you've not enjoyed the warm warmer, more humid nights we've had as of late. We'll sit at 15 degrees here in the city, 13 in Peterborough, and 16 through Niagara. We have nothing really to write home about when it comes to active weather today for the GTA and the majority of southern Ontario, thanks to that area of high pressure. But as we step into your day tomorrow, likely to see some showers again just west and east of the city. So we'll time everything out for you to help you plan your day ahead in the next couple of days. Spotty showers today in that extreme southwestern corner, but here in the city as we approach 6 p.m., nice and clear out there if you have any evening plans. I know it's busy in the summer, it feels like every single day. As we step in towards your Wednesday morning, some spotty showers again just west of the city. We could see maybe a light shower just before the lunch hour, and then as we head in towards the afternoon and evening, the bulk of that shower activity west of the downtown core, but very spotty in nature. It's that heat and humidity type of shower activity, so nothing super organized, but it can be quite intense, although short in duration. Heading into Thursday, though, a little bit of a clearing heading into the start of the day, and as we head into the afternoon and early evening, nothing really too spectacular as far as active weather goes, which is a good thing as you try to make use of your time outside. Over the next 7 days, we're above seasonal today. It is comfortable, though, when you add in the breeze. But again, enjoy the summer, but take those breaks, drink lots of water, sun protection, put on a hat. You can't see him right now, but my camera operator, Jill, has the coolest hat that he is kind of MacGyvered. His sunglasses, it's the way to go. 24 degrees as we head in towards your Wednesday, so a little closer to seasonal, but we do still feel into that kind of upper 20 range with a chance of those spotty showers mid-afternoon. Into your Thursday, more of the same, but we're back up to 29, so a little hot and humid out there. And as you look ahead to the weekend, I know the Indy has moved its way up to Markham, so maybe you're heading out there to watch the cars go vroom vroom. Maybe, if that's what you're into. We're looking at 24 for your Friday, 25 for your Saturday. Sunday, we could see a spotty shower and down to 22, but overall not too bad. And looking ahead to next week, 24 degrees feeling like 28. So when you open up the textbook of what your summer is supposed to look like, this really is it. Some spotty showers here and there to help cool things off. But if you're coming down to the park, I'm about to hit up the ice cream truck. It's just behind me. It's looking fantastic. I don't know if you guys have any orders. I'm not sure if I can make it back in time to share, but I will eat ice cream on your behalf. And it'll be fantastic. But overall, it is a beautiful summer day, and I really can't complain. I'll send things for now back inside to the studio.
Thank you, Jess. I think Jill can have my ice cream, because if anyone can MacGyver something, you know it is Jill. Thanks, Jess.
Absolutely. Thanks.
The Blue Jays will look for a second straight win when they continue their series with the Boston Red Sox tonight.
Fly ball to right field, hit pretty well. Abreu going back, turning, watching, and it's gone.
Yeah, this was a bit of a crazy game. The Jays took a 1-0 lead with a homer in the 5th inning before adding another run in the 6th. The Red Sox scored on a controversial call in the 7th, but Toronto was able to hold on to the 2-1 victory. Ace Dylan Cease is set to start for the Jays tonight with first pitch set for 7:07 at Rogers Center.
And the Tempo were looking to snap that 8-game losing streak when they took on the Atlanta Dream last night.
But out comes Maria Conde. Mabry from deep.
Tempo star Marina Mabry led all players with 36 points, but it wasn't enough to lead her team to victory. The Dream ended up winning the game 107-95. The team will be back on the court tomorrow when they wrap up their road trip against the Dallas Wings.
Toronto FC is preparing to play its first home match in over 3 months this weekend. The team was on the practice pitch this morning, getting ready for Saturday night's game against the New England Revolution. TFC last played at BMO Field on May 9th, but not long after there was a league-wide break for the FIFA World Cup. So Toronto had to play their matches elsewhere. The venues included Soldiers Field in Chicago and Yankee Stadium in New York.
It's been a year since the Ottawa Senators announced a deal to build a new arena at Le Breton Flats.
However, critics are expressing concern about a lack of progress, something the team is pushing back against. CTV's Dylan Dyson reports.
1 year on from the announcement of a new site for a downtown arena, not much has changed at Le Breton Flats.
It may not seem that way, but we are making progress.
Ottawa Senators President and CEO Cyril Leader says extensive work has been taking place behind the scenes before shovels can go in the ground, including meetings with the Algonquin Nation.
It's a 15-acre large site downtown between two train stops, LRT stations. It's contaminated. It's a tight site to work on, so there's a bunch of necessary due diligence that had to take place there.
Excitement was bubbling over at Beyond the Pale across the street from Le Breton when the announcement was first made. Now the mood has gone a bit flat.
We've accepted that we're still many years off. Who knows, is it 7, is it 8, is it more years off until puck drops? So for us, we're not really able to plan around it at this point.
Well, seeing is believing, and residents haven't been able to see what a potential design will look like yet. So, you know, the devil is in the details. I think my neighbors are really curious to see what the Senators might be planning.
Site plans and renderings from the National Capital Commission show space for an event center, residential apartments, parks, and businesses. Before any of that can become a reality, 500,000 cubic meters of soil needs to be removed from the site.
We think the majority of the excavation is contaminated. That's what our studies are showing us. It's over 500,000 cubic meters of soil that has to be taken off the site. That's probably a steady stream of trucks on and off the site for 16 months.
After cleanup, underground parking will be the first part of construction, following 30 to 36 months to build an arena. The team hoping to release a firm timeline in the new year.
We're not quite ready yet to nail down a timeline, but you know, if you add up those different chunks, you're getting pretty close to 5-6 years if you're ready to go tomorrow.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
You're watching CTV News at noon. This is a live look from Hotel X. Stay with us. When anaphylaxis begins, even a minute's hesitation in administering epinephrine can have serious consequences.
That's why a new nasal spray is being welcomed by Canadians with severe allergies. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan explains.
Lainey Choddiker has had many experiences using an EpiPen on her young kids.
5 or 6 on both kids. I have 2 sons and they both have multiple severe food allergies. Dairy, peanuts, tree nuts, sesame, soy, egg, garlic.
And she says it's not just tough managing what they eat.
It's also about, especially when kids are little, what are the other kids eating and are they handling all the same toys? Are kids washing hands?
Because allergic reactions can progress to anaphylaxis, you need to be ready and willing to give yourself a life-saving medication.
And while the Choddiker boys are okay with needles, hesitation to use epinephrine devices like an EpiPen are common.
Is hard. Giving it to a small child, giving that medication to a bystander, like helping somebody that's having an allergic reaction when it's a needle-based device, that's proven to be quite a barrier.
That's why the Choddiker family is glad that Neffy, a nasal spray form of epinephrine, has been approved in Canada.
The current Health Canada indication is for patients weighing 30 kilograms or 66 pounds and above. So on average, the 8-9-year-old with some variability.
The nasal spray works in seconds, just like an EpiPen. It has been tested for safety in a range of conditions from 50 degrees Celsius to use after being frozen. And it doesn't expire for 30 months.
I think as they get older and the onus shifts from me administering to them administering, this could be an option for them to make sure that there's not that fear.
Choddiker doesn't have the Neffy yet, but is hoping to for the start of the school year. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Still to come, taking a closer look at the Ontario Science Centre. We'll have more on the harbourfront location when we come back.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Farming in Canada is not easy or cheap, which is why researchers are exploring a lesser-known crop with growing potential to cut costs.
CTV's Maria Saru has more on Kurzna, a so-called wonder grain, which could also help the environment.
A lot of costs associated with planting a crop, so if you can get away with planting it once every 3 to 5 years, then you save those inputs.
Research scientist Aaron Mills says wheat can cost up to $800 to plant per acre, but for Kernza, it's closer to $100. And it can also do double duty, producing both grain and forage for livestock. But there are trade-offs like lower returns, and the market is limited, making it a good fit for farmers looking for a rotational crop.
It's not for everybody. What we try to do is add more tools to the toolbox for farmers.
One of Kernza's biggest advantages may be below ground. Its roots stay in the soil year-round, storing carbon pulled from the atmosphere. And because it needs less fertilizer and fewer trips across the field, researchers say it can also cut greenhouse gas emissions. Not only can it survive in maritime conditions, but also western winters, so land isn't left bare between crops.
I'm out west where this was prairie, and the great soils that we had were the result of having the permanent ground cover. So there are some maybe long-term benefits for all of us.
He adds Kernza is already being used to make artisan bread and brew beer, but there's potential for more. Researchers are now watching to see just how long Kernza can keep growing in the same field before it needs to be replanted. Maria Saru, CTV News, Harrington, Prince Edward Island.
CP24 got a first-hand look at the Ontario Science Centre location at Harbourfront Centre today. CP24 meteorologist Bill Coulter was given a tour of the facility, including the space deck and innovation station. The space deck includes interactive exhibits designed to teach about outer space. The innovation station is an exploration of gravity and motion done through hands-on activities and challenges.
We have over here some engineering materials, ring-majig, imagination playground, and the things that kids make, huge creations. It's really fun.
And these are the leaders of tomorrow, so you really want to get them inspired and you know, give them an option to get off the phones. Right?
Absolutely. This is where we inspire our engineers, our scientists, our biologists, our healthcare workers. It all starts here.
Admission to the Ontario Science Centre for people 17 and under is free through September 7th. Tickets are 50% off for young adults between 18 and 24.
Hudson Williams, Andrew Scott, and Chris Rock are among the stars set to take the stage at TIFF as part of the festival's In Conversation With series. Williams is at the festival to debut the new Crave series, Yaga. TIFF says the event with the 25-year-old actor is part of the Next Wave initiative, which spotlights young talent. Rock, meanwhile, is set to speak on his latest film, Misty Green, and Scott is at TIFF to promote Elsinore. The 51st edition of the Toronto International Film Festival runs September 10th to the 20th.
Coming up, keeping things cool for decades. We'll have more on a contest to find Ontario's oldest working air conditioning unit when we come back. Welcome back. An Ontario company recently held a contest to find the province's oldest working air conditioner.
They found a unit that has been cooling things off for decades. CTV's Pat Foran has the details.
This old air conditioner is being removed from a home in Pickering, even though it's still running. Buttons Heating and Air Conditioning had a contest to find the oldest working air conditioner in Durham region. And this unit, made by a company called Fetters, was still going strong.
Was it still blowing cold air?
It was. I came here last week to do the confirmation. It was working, and it was cooling the house very well.
Nigel Charlton says there were more than 100 entries in the contest, which included working air conditioners that were 41, 43, and 44 years old. But this model was the oldest working unit at 52.
Look after it, keep it clean. It'll look after you.
95-year-old Lois Kemp remembers getting the air conditioner in 1974.
I was just a teenager when it was installed.
Steve Kemp says he remembers when the family got the air conditioner and says over 52 years he doesn't recall it breaking down, not even once.
It's been there since 74, and like every year we've maintained it, we've cleared it, we've covered it in the winter. We've always cleaned it in the spring, make sure it's running top notch.
Winning the contest means Lois will get a brand new Daikin air conditioner. Charlton says it will be more efficient and save her money.
Yes, it's been running for 52 years, but if anything happened, she wouldn't be able to fix it. But she's got a brand new one that's more efficient. It's going to be quieter and far less taxing on her energy bill.
This past winter, the company had a contest for the oldest working furnace. The winner came in at 69 years old.
I don't recall us ever having any troubles whatsoever, not one.
With the new air conditioner in place, Lois is optimistic that it will last for many years to come.
Well, I hope so. Yeah. I hope so.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
That's impressive. Yeah, air conditioner on if you have it today because it is definitely hot and there's some humidity in the mix too there, Jess.
There is. We've got a beautiful breeze out here, so I can't really be too mad at it. I don't have any skills, but these people definitely do. They've been skateboarding and scooting all day, and it's a great day to do so, but they're also taking breaks, drinking lots of water, which is the key to being outside and enjoying the weather safely if you didn't win your very own free air conditioner. As we head into the afternoon, we'll see a daytime high between 28 and 29, feeling into that low 30 range, so a textbook summer day. As we head in towards the rest of our evening, it is going to stay relatively warm, so if you do have evening plans, it'll be pretty nice out there. We're sitting at 27 here in the city right now, feeling like 29. Over the next 7 days, we do kind of hover between seasonal and just above. Heading into the day tomorrow, we go just shy of seasonal, but you factor in that humidex, and we're feeling about 29. Still lots of sunshine with the chance of maybe a pop-up shower. As we head in towards the weekend, if you're going to the Indy or maybe coming down here to the park to go skateboarding or scooting, you can absolutely do it. But I have to tell you, if you're going to be doing it, make sure you have skills much like these people here, because he's much better than I am. Like, first try. And he might also juggle. Either way, whatever you're doing outside today, tomorrow, over the rest of the week, it is going to be absolutely fantastic. There we go. Appreciate you, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Stay safe. We'll have more weather tonight at 5 and 6. I'll send things back inside.
Thank you, Jess. And that is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and on our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and the whole team here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Andrea Case. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Bye.